station. So there we go. So I'm going to hand this over to Julie now, who's going to take us on our itinerary to Australia. Over to you, Julie.
Perfect. Thank you, Colette. Are you just able to, there's just the gray bar at the top there. Can you move that one? Yeah, that one. Okay, super.
Okay, so.
Perfect. Well, yeah, as Colette said, the last time we were together at an Australia conference was actually in August, and that's when we started to concoct this plan about putting a trip together with the two of us and our client networks. And we just both, like Colette said, are super passionate about Australia, and we thought we would just love to put a trip together with all the special suppliers and sites that we love and get to bring you and show you that firsthand. So we'll when you fly to Australia, you'll leave North America and you actually arrive 2 days later. So on the dates, we actually land on November 2nd in Sydney, but we'll be leaving from North America on the 31st of October. The flights also arrive early in the morning. So what we have planned is we're going to be arriving in Sydney. Once we go through customs immigration, we'll have a private transfer that will meet us and take us to our hotel. And that's going to be the hotel that we're staying at is called the Ridges. It's in the Rocks area in Sydney. It's a prime location. And we're going to be able to check in right away into our rooms, be able to freshen up, drop off our bags, and then we have a couple things planned so that we can sort of stay awake, try to stay up for the day, and then have a good night's sleep that night. So our hotel, it's the Ridges, it's a 4-star hotel. The location, like I said, is just perfect. So you can see where Circular Quay is. You can see where the Opera House is on the right-hand side. Our hotel is that middle circle on the left. And then right above it is the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So it just can't get any better than this. Right out our doorstep is the historic area of Sydney. So after, like I said, after we drop off our bags and just freshen up, we're going to meet a guide to do a walking tour in the Rocks area. So they're going to share history on Sydney and when the first settlers came and the different buildings and everything in this area. So have a look. This is what the Rocks is all about. Yeah, so this is going to be just great. It's going to be just sort of a stroll through the area, get our bearings, and then that evening is at leisure. There's plenty of places you can go and grab a bite to eat, or if you want to just eat at the hotel. And then I imagine it'll be an early night for everyone. Then the following morning, we're going to be picked up for a private tour. We're going to head over to the famous Bondi Beach, and in Bondi Beach, we're going to do a surf culture tour. So they're going to take us around. These two guys hosted me when I was there in May, just took me around, told me about what the surf culture is like. We walked around and they showed us some of the surf clubs. And then there's a beautiful walkway right along the beach and along the ocean. So we'll do a little bit of that. I looked down, there was dolphins right there, people surfing, people learning to surf, but it's an amazing company to go with. So a great iconic spot there. After we leave Bondi Beach, we're going to have a light lunch, and then we're going to make our way back close to downtown again where our hotel is, but we're going to go under the Harbor Bridge. We're going to make our way to the Botanical Gardens. And at the Botanical Gardens, we're going to do a really special Aboriginal heritage tour. So we're going to have an Aboriginal guide who's going to teach us about some of the flora and fauna, some of the plants that they use or used to use. And it's going to be really interesting. So yeah, have a look. This is a little bit about the tour.
Late May, she's a starry, starry night. Old man moon, nowhere in sight. Southeast wind playing tricks on my mind. Fingers bent and ready, hold the line. The scorpion is rising in the east. Orion, ah well, he's just gone to sleep.
Perfect. And then the rest of the day after, we're going to head back to the hotel. And then the rest of the evening is at leisure. Again, you can choose from a variety of different restaurants to dine in that evening. Then the following morning, we're going to do another really special tour. This is a backstage tour of the Opera House. So we get to go in the morning before the Opera House is open. The performers will be getting ready, so we might run into a few of those. And then we get to tour inside the Opera House, different auditoriums and everything before anyone else is in there. So that's really a really unique tour that we thought that you would really like. After that, we're going to have a nice breakfast just outside the Opera House on the harbor, and it would just be a really great way to start our day. From there, this is also within walking distance to our hotel. After there, we're going to stop by our friend Fiona's opal store. So she's had, Altman and Turney has been family company for a few generations, and they have actually one of the largest opals in the world there. So it'll be really neat to go in and get to see that. She's also an amazing jewelry designer. So she has some really unique pieces of jewelry that we can look at in different colors of coral. The rest then of the afternoon is at leisure. We can make lots of different suggestions on things that you can do that afternoon. You can actually go up one of the pillars of the harbor bridge, and it's a beautiful view out of the harbor and the Opera House, but yeah, lots to do. And then in the evening, we're going to meet and we're going to finish off our time in Sydney with a lovely dinner cruise. So have a look. We have a video of this as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was me. Sorry. Sorry about
Perfect.
that,
Yeah,
Julie.
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so that will be the last evening in Sydney. And in the morning, we're going to pack up and we're going to fly to the Gold Coast Airport. So it's a nice little airport on the coast there. So we're going to fly up there. And then when we arrive, we're going to be transferred to our hotel, which is the QT Gold Coast. Lovely hotel. We're all going to have ocean view rooms. And why not? You know, we come from landlocked provinces. So nice to have the ocean view. And then that afternoon, there's going to be some time to just explore, walk around on your own. And then in the evening, we're going to meet for a really neat experience, which is going to be an evening rainforest tour. So you get to see things. We're going to get to see things like these glowing mushrooms. Those some of you may have seen those glowworms, maybe in New Zealand, but just a really really unique perspective to be able to get to see the rainforest in the evening. And then back to our hotel that night. Then the next day, we're going to have a full day tour with our friends at Eco Safari Queensland. We know the owner, Tim, well, and they're going to take us out on a tour to the areas like surf town of Byron Bay, which is now famous. Chris Hemsworth has a place there. I was there almost 20 years ago, and it's just a little hippie town with people with bare feet, surfers with their surfboards, and it's still has that hippie vibe to it, but it's a little bit more boutique-y now, I should say. So we'll have a great day there. We go out to the lighthouse, which is on the most easternly point of mainland Australia, and see that lighthouse. Again, I remember seeing dolphins down in the waves there, and just beaches as far as you can see. That's like a pretty full day, and then we're going to head back to the hotel and can have dinner at one of the wonderful restaurants around our hotel. Then the following day, we're going to transfer now up to Brisbane and fly out of there to Cairns in the north for our flight. And when we arrive, we're going to be picked up and transferred. It's just it's a smaller airport, and it's not very far, I think 10 minutes maybe to get to Cairns, where we're going to check into our hotel, which is also right on the Cairns. There's like really nice esplanade, sort of mud flats. There isn't a beach right at Cairns. So they have created this huge lagoon, pool, barbecues, picnic areas, walking paths. Is really nice. And our hotel is going to be just walking distance to there. Then that evening, we have, again, another really special night where we're going to have dinner at an aquarium by twilight. So this is a huge aquarium. It's 400,000 liters of water. And there's a lot of fish and sea life in there that are nocturnal. So we wouldn't see these if you were just snorkeling in the daytime. They all come out at night. So we're gonna dine next to this huge aquarium and have just a fabulous dinner. But Colette has a video here as well for us to see what it's like. Yeah, so a fabulous dinner there. You kind of get a sense of what that would be like. And then just a short stroll over back to our hotel. And thank you, Elena, for your question. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll go through them at the end. But yeah, feel free to write them in so you don't forget. And then the following day, this will be, a highlight everyone thinks about when they go to Australia is going out to the Great Barrier Reef. So we have a really great tour company we work with called Reef Magic. And this, again, a couple minutes from our hotel, we walk over to the dock and get on a catamaran that will take us out to a pontoon that is set up on the reef. So you can actually go out to the pontoon. You can experience the reef without even getting wet. If you don't want to get in the water, you don't have to. They have glass bottom boats. They have scenic flights. You can just look over the railing and see the fish. There'll be a great lunch there. You can also get an idea of just how you can get into the water and the different activities you can do with this video that Colette is going to show here. Perfect. So yeah, you can see plenty of different ways to interact with the reef there. Then the next day we're going to pack up and we're going to head 1 hour drive north to Port Douglas. On the way, we're going to stop at the Kuranda Scenic Railway. So this is a steam train that goes through the rainforest, and we also have a video to show you on what that's like.
The train gently snakes its way up the range. The higher we go, the better the view.
Business is beautiful. Barron Falls are absolutely stunning. You've got to come and check them out. Oh, I see. This looks unreal. Thank you.
So a really neat way to get up to the town of Kuranda. And up there you can walk around. There's a whole bunch of shops. There's like a butterfly sanctuary there. You can hold a koala. There's all sorts of different things to walk around and see. And then when we leave Kuranda, we're actually going to take the gondola back down. And it's amazing as you're going down through the rainforest. There's the little platforms you can get off and stop and take pictures, but you can actually see the ocean and the reef right from the rainforest. So it's a really spectacular view. We have a video as well on that.
I never dreamed just how beautiful it would be.
Experience Skyrail today.
Yeah, it's stunning. Then we're going to check in for 3 nights at the Peppers Beach Club. Now, this is a really nice hotel right in Port Douglas, and Port Douglas does have a swimmable beach there, and it's just a really great, quaint town with Main Street, some great restaurants and shops. We're going to have a little bit more free time here, so you have time to just enjoy the area. You can do a walk over to, there's also a lighthouse. If you wanted to do, say, a cruise on the Daintree River, see some crocodiles, go see some cassowary birds, look for platypus. There's different tours we can recommend, but you might just want to just relax and have a day to yourself. So that will be on our 9th day. And then the following day, we're going to do another cultural tour. So this one is going to be in the rainforest. So we're going to be out and about, and we have a video to show you as well on what this is all about.
Late May, she's a starry, starry night. Old man moon, nowhere in sight. Southeast wind playing tricks on my mind. Fingers bent and ready, hold the line. The scorpion is rising in the east. Orion, ah well, he's just gone to sleep. Corvus Crow, watch him diving down. Simpson Beach seems so far away from town. Catfish, don't you bother.
Yeah, you're gonna love that. We're gonna be out like crabbing and get to experience that. It's really neat. And Australia just does such a great job with their cultural tours. So from there, we're going the very next day, we're going to make our way to the Cairns airport and for our flight down to Adelaide. And I'll pass it over to you, Colette, to finish.
Thanks,
rest of the
Julie.
tour.
That was great. I've been just waiting my turn to start talking. So once we arrive in Adelaide, this is in South Australia, we'll be met and transferred over to the Majestic M Suite. So this is like a small apartment style, 1-bedroom units for everybody, where you'll have a chance to really feel that you can wind down, do some laundry if you'd like to, and explore locally because everything is pretty close. You're not far from the CBD, the downtown core of Adelaide. But depending on the flight times, you know, we're still working some final stuff out. But our first night will be at leisure when we get there, and probably walk over to a local restaurant, which they have. We do have breakfast daily. It's not in your hotel. They do have a restaurant that provides for their guests. However, the next day, we have our friends from Adelaide tour company that's going to pick us up for a wine tasting event in Maclaire Vale, and we're going to go visit the Cube. I don't know if anybody's looked it up or heard about it, but it's quite something to visit, and I don't really want to say too much because that's why you have to go and see it for yourself. We're going to be out for the day. There's going to be after breakfast and drop off at the dinner time. So we'll have a chance to experience some different wines, explore the Cube, maybe pick up a few bottles here and there for our journey, as well as a chance to grab a bite to eat before we make our way back into the city. Day 13, you definitely need a day to explore. You know, this is your vacation, and you might have a bucket list. There are so many things to do in the city of Adelaide that we wanted you to have time to do this on your own at your leisure. We've selected certain days of the week to be in certain cities because of certain things. So like the Adelaide Central Market is something to see. It's historic, and everybody just, I mean, you go there and you salivate because of all the foods and stuff, but it's quite the thing to see. Rundle Mall, if you're a shopper, it's just, we just wanted to leave you to have free time because we think it's great. And we'll give you suggestions to help you along the way. So on day 14, this is when we're going to check out of our hotel, but we're going to leave our large luggage behind because we're going to be making our way to Kangaroo Island this day, but on a full day tour prior to arriving for the ferry to get over to Kangaroo Island. So we're going to show you a little snippet from the company Off-Piste that is going to pick us up and take us out and about in the Fleurier area, and then we'll end up in taking the ferry over to Kangaroo Island. So watch a little bit about their company. we'll have a full day with them, and then they're going to drop us off with our overnight bags to Cape Jervis, where we're going to board the ferry. It's about a 45-minute ferry over to Kangaroo Island. And upon arrival, it'll be early evening when we get there. So we're going to just go right to our hotel where we'll have time to go for dinner. Here's why I always suggest Kangaroo Island on, for sure, when I'm talking about Australia. This is always on my hit list for clients. So here's a little snippet from the company that's going to be taking us about. And Craig is a local, and his family has developed a great product here, and he's highly regarded in South Australia.
Hi, welcome to Exceptional Kangaroo Island. We offer luxury small group and private tours. Common to all of these are sustainable wildlife encounters, great storytelling, home-baked morning teas, elegant lunches served with beers, wines, soft drinks, and all of our tours are in comfortable four-wheel drives to explore the backtracks as well as the iconic places of Kangaroo Islands. Places you've heard of, Remarkable Rocks, Admiral's Arch, Seal Bay, but also other places that only locals know about, and it's our job to take you there.
And that's what it's all about. So here's our hotel for 2 nights. So on the first night we arrive, it's like I said, a little later in the evening. We're gonna be at the Aurora's Ozone. It's a small area where you can have dinner. But the next day we're gonna have breakfast, and we're off and running for the day, where Kangaroo Island Tours can pick us up and take us all about. Kangaroo Island's pretty big. People just don't realize how big it is until they're there. But we've decided the 2 nights would be a perfect segue to take in as much as we can, given the time frame for our journey. So the first day will be a full-on day tour with coffee break and lovely lunch. And we're gonna walk along the beach to see the seals. Like, you're just gonna be so excited. And then we'll head back to the hotel where we'll overnight again. Next day, we'll be picked up. This is where we'll check out. We'll get picked up for our journey for the rest of the day. And we're going to be dropped off at the airport for our flight back to Adelaide, where we're going to go back to the Majestic, collect our large luggage, check back in for 1 night. And then the following day is going to be our journey onward to the Great Ocean Road. So that's a 3-night, 4-day tour. So we have a wonderful team that's picking us up and taking us through for a 3-night, 4-day journey, leaving Adelaide. We're going to be visiting all different highlights along the way. But here's an idea, a map. So we're going to start at the Majestic Suites. Hahndorf is a German town, settlers and stuff, so a lot of history. But this is the route we're going to be taking towards Melbourne's actually behind this. It's up here, so you can't really see it. But there is a ferry crossing in between here. So as we continue on, our first night's going to be at the Commodore, where we'll have breakfast included the next morning before we continue on, meeting right into the Great Ocean Road. These are some of the visuals. The 12 Apostles, well, I don't know how many are left, because you can see some of them are kind of disappearing. So there's opportunities for photo ops. There'll be a place where if you wanted to book a helicopter tour to go up and view it from atop, I've done that. It's pretty amazing. So there's plenty to see. It's a full-on day. Here's a little snapshot of what to expect along the way. And just ignore the 2-day tour here, because it's more than 2 days. So this was actually shown in the video clip. This is where we're going to be one night, Beacon Point, and we're going to have dinner there. I've actually stayed at this place probably 8 years ago. Again, it's along the way. So we have these one night journeys along the way. On day 19, we'll start our day. We're going to be heading our way to the Peninsula Hot Springs Hotel, which is going to be on the other side where we have to take a ferry over to Sorrento. And this is like in the Mornington Peninsula area. It's lovely. So we'll have an opportunity to take photos. This is a famous golf course where everybody stops, every tour bus, because kangaroos all over the golf course. But at the end, we'll be making our way to the Peninsula Hot Springs, and this is where we're going to spend the evening. So this place is where we'll have time to wind down and take advantage of the benefits of being and glamping here. That just made me go, ah. So the morning is not going to be rushed. We're going to just take our time, and we'll have a late start to the day, so you can take advantage of walking about. We will have breakfast, and then our journey here is making our way to Phillip Island, and we'll have some stops in between. But Phillip Island definitely is where people go to see the penguin parade. And the penguin parade happens at dusk. So we will be there to see this. Again, our journey we'll have lunch along the way. But once we get there, this is what you'll be seeing. And here they come. I never get sick of those guys. So the Premium Plus, the Penguin Plus, so we're going to be with a ranger. So we're not like in the with the crowd. We actually will have a specific area just for us. So this is pretty special. So by the time we're finished that and we make our way up to Melbourne, we will. It'll be a late night for our drop off. So it's going to be a late arrival and a late check-in. So we're looking forward to getting there, because by that time we'll have had a full-on day. So the next day, we're going to start our day at leisure, going to have breakfast. We're going to be doing private lanes and arcade tour in the afternoon. in the early afternoon with our good friend Fiona. She's got an amazing company that shares what Melbourne has to offer. So have a look.
We've got a secret to tell you. You can be more than just a tourist. We want you to meet Melbourne. You've heard about the laneways, the stairways, the wrong way, the right way, the rooftops, the cool shops, the coffee spots and tram stops, the locals, the shopping, the history and art. Did we mention the food? Oh, where to start? The arcades, the accolades, the chocolate and wine. The way you can feel that you've stepped back in time. You can just have a look and tick boxes from your list. But we assure you, there are things you will have missed. Melbourne is more than a snap, a post or a tweet. Melbourne's a city we want you to meet. So come and meet the food, meet the coffee, meet the art. Hidden Secrets Tours, the best place to start.
Makes it sound kind of intriguing, doesn't it? Anyways, so we think you'll enjoy that quite a bit. So the rest of the day will be at leisure. Again, there's time to do plenty of things. They have a free tram for tourists that you can get on and just sit and listen. It's kind of like a hop on, hop off tour bus. So the next day, no rush, breakfast at leisure. Now's the time to think that we're getting to the end, so it's time to get organized for our return the following day. So there's time to do that, and we'll set a time to meet for our final dinner experience together. And then after breakfast, we're going to check out, and it's time to head back. 23 days sounds like a lot. It goes by quick because you're really getting into the heart and soul of Australia. But by day 23, I think most of the people are kind of saying, yep, I'm kind of ready to go back home, but it was wonderful. So we're excited to bring this to you. Now we have to give you kind of the nitty-gritty of this tour. So pretty much everything that you've seen in the presentation and in the itinerary is included. Okay, so the hotels, the transfers, everything private, our driver guide, sightseeing, breakfast, any meals that are indicated are included in our tour. Travel requirements is pretty simple now to get there, a lot better than it was a couple of years ago. You must have an Australia visa. It's a tourist visa that is done online. This is a picture of the app that's on that you can get onto to apply for it, and it's usually within minutes that you get a confirmation. And the visa is good for a 2-year term. So if you happen to decide to go now and then go again, you don't have to get another one. But your passports cannot expire within 6 months of your return to Canada date. So that's really crucial to know because they could deny you at boarding. And of course, insurance. It's highly recommended. We know what we've been through, and hiccups are kind of seems like the go here today in travel. So we always have to be prepared for interruptions, and sometimes insurance is definitely helpful if you have it. So now the next slide, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the tour pricing. We're going to show you that we have a land pricing and we have an air separate, because there's nobody that's going to include air at a certain cost and let us buy into it. So we have to separate the two. So if once we get to the land pricing, now in the map of Australia, you'll see a Canadian and Aussie. This tour requires a portion of the cost to be paid in Australia dollars. We cannot get away from it. So we've had to kind of give you a split. The Australian dollars is very much at par with Canadian, so you get an idea. Now this is per person, land only, okay, in Canadian dollars, and that's a little bit in Aussie. For anybody that's considering a single occupancy, there's the price there. We're requesting a non-refundable deposit of $2,000 per person for the land only, and the balance would be due in July. And, you know, between now and then, if you wanted to pay towards it, you can do that. Installments, it's up to you. We're offering an early booking discount of $500 off per person if you commit by the end of January. So I'm going to have a little talk about the air. So this is kind of the schedule we're looking at right now. We're going to have myself escorting from Toronto and Julie from the West Coast. So depending if it's Calgary, Edmonton, so we'll figure that out, depending on who's coming from where. If there's other gateways, we can certainly look into it to see if we can add that on. So if somebody's, say, coming from Ottawa to Toronto, we can certainly apply to get that done. But the point is, the whole group is going to meet in Los Angeles. And then from there, we make our way. And so the flight cost will have all of these segments in it. So gateway to Los Angeles, to Sydney, to the Gold Coast, from Brisbane to Cairns, Cairns to Adelaide, Melbourne is the return to Los Angeles. And then from there, everybody goes back to their home gateway. So the fares we're going to request are going to be an economy, premium economy, and business. They will not hold business class seats for us, and they might hold a few premiums, but the idea is that when and if you're ready to commit, because the travel is within 300 days, we can book these seats now, and they'll be booked and pay in full. So your airfare will be done, your deposit, and you're on your way. If you're doing premium or business, that section will be in the long haul, the international sector. So Los Angeles to Sydney, Melbourne to Los Angeles for that portion, okay? So to give kind of an idea of where pricing is with air, economy seats for, and this is all the domestic and international, we're probably in the $4,500 range Canadian. Premium could be $65,000 to $7,000 per person. And business, well, depending on what Qantas is doing, it can be anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 per person. So it kind of gives you a ballpark figure as to where we're going with the air. So again, it'll include, if you're with in economy, it'll include a checked luggage for all the domestics. So that's really important to know ahead of time. For those that maybe haven't been with Qantas before, here's kind of a snapshot of their premium economy to give you more space, more depth with comfort, overall comfort. So with premium economy, you have pre-boarding, priority check-in, you have a few different extra things. So it does make the difference for this long haul. So the more comfortable you can be, the better. And this is where we come to the end. So what I'm going to do, because we'll open it up for Q&As, but I'm going to stop the recording